Welcome to today's episode of the Design Sessions. I'm Rebecca Robeson. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to teach you everything I know about fabrics. Fabric includes things like window treatments, upholstery on your furniture, pillows. You can use fabrics in so many ways. They can fix things and they can absolutely make your house sparkle and shine and look amazing. These are the 3 principles that I'm going to teach you today. Number 1, how to create a color story. That's pulling your fabrics together to create something where they all go together and you have something absolutely beautiful when you're done. The second thing is what types of fabrics to use where. For example, you don't want to use a sheer on a sofa, right? No, but then you don't want to use a big thick tapestry on a window treatment. You gotta get where I'm going. And number 3, what if you are in the middle of your decorating process and you've got to work with some decisions you've already made? I'm gonna show you how to pull it all together using fabrics. So we're going to take a field trip today. We're going to go to 2 places. The first one is a fabric store. Just fabrics, I mean more fabrics than you can imagine. It is amazing and I'm going to show you how I pull fabrics together. The second place is a retail furniture store. It's open to the public, anyone can shop there, and they have a lot of customizable options. So I'm going to show you when you're in that situation, how in the world do you make a decision on what you want to use in your home? And then we're going to wrap it up right back here where we started, and I'm going to show you how I apply the principles that I teach you today in my own design projects. I think it's going to be fun, so let's get started. So I have a little treat for you today. I'm going to show you how I shop as a designer for fabrics. I happen to be at Kravet, which is a trade-only place, and I look at it kind of like if you're going to make a gourmet meal, are you going to shop at 7-Eleven or are you going to shop at Vaughn's Superstore? Well, this is the Vaughn's Superstore of wholesale fabrics available to the trade-only. If you happen to have a trade discount, this is the kind of place you'd shop. But you know what? The principles I'm going to show you apply to all things like window treatments, pillows, bedding, upholstery fabric, and look how many choices I have. The options are endless and beautiful. All right, Jason.
All right, we done?
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Pick a color, any color. You guys remember the design session on pillows? We talked about a hero pillow. That was like the pillow that had all your combination of color, or it had the best color or texture, or it had a pattern you loved. That's what I'm looking for here. Something that'll be my hero, and then I'll combine all the way around it, which is when it really gets fun. I'm so drawn to that. Love all those shades of green. So when I'm going through, I'm just looking for things I like. When you're looking at fabrics, this says that the horizontal repeat is 24 inches. So 24 inches, and then it repeats, right? And then the vertical repeat is 30 inches. So it goes from here to the top of that green diamond up there. What that tells you is you need to know that when you're doing fabrics, because if you're doing window treatments or something like that and you want them all to hang at the same level, the same print is across the same level, you may have to cut into a repeat, which means you just need more fabric. But it makes for a great pillow sometimes when you have a big repeat. Here's a great way to know. If you see this here, that's your repeat from there to there. This leaf right here is repeated right there. So you know that you've got that much room to work with. You might lose a whole yard, but then you come down here and your repeat is really small. It's like 13 inches in all the directions. But then you look here, and this repeat is 2 3/4 inches. So you see how the repeat changes? It just means once the pattern repeats again, that's the name repeat. This one, the repeat is 3.5 inches. So, God, if you asked me, I'd say that was even smaller than that. You know what they need here? Food. That's what they need, food. Why do I love orange and hot pink? Probably because I was a PSA flight attendant years ago. Those were our colors, and I really loved that job. Wow, that's exciting. I actually want that. This is super cute. Why am I drawn to all this colored stuff?
Like it too.
I think that is just so cute. Okay, so while I wait for them to get my fabric samples for me, I'm gonna have some coffee, and they provide you with snacks. Thank God. I love shopping in a place like this because you're not just looking at a little square of fabric, you actually have it hanging in a nice big piece. This might look nice for a window treatment. Imagine what it would, how it would gather or pleat if you wanted to use it in window treatments. But see, I wouldn't use this on a window treatment. I'll tell you why. Because see how when you pleat this, you lose the pattern? So it's kind of like what's so pretty about it is when it's like that. So this could be used for upholstery, like for a headboard in a bedroom, or it could be used for pillows perfectly. See how heavy this is? This would make a great headboard, upholstered headboard, or upholstery on a sofa or a chair. Not so much on a window treatment, although you could, but I'd probably put that in a very cold climate. Like if you lived in the snow in Montana. Have you noticed how often I use Montana? Any viewers watching that live in Montana? I should come see you. I don't know if you can tell, this is like super heavy, heavy weight. This I would only use for upholstery. Good Lord. This is like a carpet. So here's a silk. Now something like silk would make a beautiful bedding, like a duvet cover. It would also be beautiful on pillows. I would not use this for upholstery. And I would use it in, for window treatments. It looks amazing in window treatments, but you gotta remember silk will absolutely decay when the sun hits it. So it has to be super highly lined if you're gonna use something like that. So take a look at this. Now this is the kind of fabric that you would often see, we call them casements. They're used for window treatments. And it's really see-through, and it's beautiful. But for me personally, I would likely never use this. I'll tell you why. Watch. If I take this and I pleat it like it was a window treatment, do you see what it does down here? It becomes a tutu. It's tutu crispy. Whoa, look at that. Hello, my mother's bridesmaids gowns. This reminds me of a piece of art that my mother had. In fact, I inherited it recently. It's this woman sitting on a chaise like this, and she's like this, and it poops out the back and poops out the front, and it's this color. Satin, it's beautiful. I would use this on a dress. I like that a lot. I'm just gonna do a lightweight pleat. But see, now that hangs much nicer. So that's the kind of weight you're looking for when you're looking at window treatments. And this is one of my all-time favorite fabrics. I don't know why I am so drawn to it. It's a Ralph Lauren. I think I love the fact that it goes from a bold stripe to a narrow stripe. But I would do window treatments and I would fold them, make the stripes go horizontal. That looks beachy, doesn't it? To make a great pillow, but it's super quilted. Isn't that amazing? Great pillow, could be a bench at the end of the chair, could be a headboard, beautiful headboard. This shows you different trims that you can buy, but this is just a sewn-on trim. Isn't that beautiful? And this would be absolutely gorgeous on a chair, like an upholstered chair and next to a sofa. It's beautiful. Oh, this would do it. Oh, yes. Only problem is it's just not pretty fabric. But it hangs well, look at that. So one of the things I'm going to show you is how to match a pattern with a stripe, with maybe a polka dot, with a solid, and how to get some different textures in there, and maybe if you want to throw in a jacquard or a ikat or a paisley. Want to know how to do that? Let's keep looking then. All right, guys, I am going to conquer you if it's the last thing I do. So this is the area that we typically look through to find window treatment fabric. It's much softer, as you can see. This is really pretty. See how pretty that hangs? That would be nice. I like that one. And these you can actually take out and look at in a bigger piece. So when you get your hero fabric, you come and pick out your window treatment fabric that'll go with. Look at that fabric. Have you ever seen anything like that? So on this, you could run a rod through the holes. I've done that before on something similar. And then what you end up with is that. But can anyone tell me, hashtag Design Sessions Live, what's wrong with this? It would never hang right, would it? These are our samples that we picked. And what we're looking for is a hero. Black and whites are going to go over here. I like that idea of a black and white. So now I'm separating these things. We are separating them by color to kind of get a plan going. We have a stack of neutrals, stack of really colorful, but I'm thinking, Jason, for the sake of this design session, so that they can kind of get the idea, it's maybe better to go with the colorful.
Let's show them something hard, because this is...
That's easy. It's safer. So we have decided on this. We're going to go with this kind of watercolor paisley that's very fun. If you see this, see how this is very free flow and has like a swirl to it? What you want to add to it is not another swirl. Like, for example, these colors don't go together, but these two prints do not go together. They are too similar and too fighting. This has got a chevron pattern to it, but it's very geometric. So you can take a geometric and then you can add a swirl with it. You get that? Straight, swirl. Then, I like this with this. I think that's super cute. So you could do pillows in this fabric and pillows in this. So you have the polka dots and the squares and the chevron. That's actually really cute, don't you think? Now, what we need, let's say that this is going to be for a guest bedroom, which actually, we don't even have to just say it, it actually is. Now, what we need is some solid fabrics for like the bench seat at the end of the bed, and perhaps a chair fabric. So let's go look for some solids. We got enough print going on here. So I'm gonna come over here to the velvets wall. So here we are. Did you ever know there were so many lime greens to choose from? But I try to get as close to the color as I can. We got all kinds of colors. Lime isn't one of them. This is not as easy as it looks. Oh, look at how perfect that orange is. So we have our velvets, which is my favorite because it's so rich in color. I love velvet. It's super comfortable, but it's a beach house, so I think we should get some linen also. This goes a little bit red, redder than this one. So that's our velvets, and let me pull out some linens. I think what I'm trying to show you here is to have one fabric that has all these colors in it. Then you can select from there your companion fabrics, and then you can pick your solids after that. I like to use stripes, but I honestly feel like these polka dots and squares are in a stripe pattern, so they actually do accomplish that look. So this is what I pulled together. My watercolor fabric, my two stripes, one in a circle, one in a square, 4 different shades of velvet that go with these colors and pull this together. These would be my pillows, my solid pillows, maybe a Eurosham out of one of these. These would be throw pillows in the front, and one of these could actually be a bench seat. I also have options to do linen if I want it to be a little bit more summery looking. Don't love the colors as much. Look, you can see the difference in the saturation on the velvet is amazing, and not so much in the linen, but that may be how we do it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these to the job site and see what it looks like in the natural lighting in the home. Super important. And then this last one, I've decided on this, I'm gonna do a window treatment, And the window treatment panels are going to be a solid linen, and at the base, you know, like let's say this is a window treatment panel here, like right here, I might put in a border of that chevron that brings the color in and makes it kind of fun. Take a look at some pictures of some projects I've done where I've done borders in window treatments in another fabric, and it looks incredible. So that would be the plan for this guest bedroom. Those would be the colors and the options. What do you guys think? Do you like this? Now I'm going to show you something very practical on how you can take fabrics, put them together, and come up with a room, including upholstery. So to make this practical, let me show you how this is going to work on your actual upholstered pieces, let's say in a living room. Here in the showroom, they've got a combination that I'm going to show you, but I want to show you what they started with. Apparently, they chose this stripe right here to be their hero fabric. You're going to see that there's this blue shade in here. It's kind of a softer blue. This gold, but it's got a lot of green in it. A taupey shade here, and then a nice light creamy background. So this is what they chose as their main hero fabric. They got all their colors from that, just like I just showed you. Then they decided to do their sofa in this. This is actually a really beautiful fabric. And this is like the cream and the taupe together. And these two, even though this has got a lot of print to it, from a distance you don't see all that print. So this can still be kind of our hero. And then they said, okay, let's do a chair, an occasional chair next to it, and let's pick out a blue. And this had a lot of texture to it. Now, this, what I want to show you is this kind of goes with this darker stripe here, not the light blue stripe. Then they chose some pillow fabrics, all right? So they used their hero as a pillow. They also used it as a chair. They decided to bring in this. And this actually is a very literal translation of that color. If I had done this, I probably would have gone with something more of the taupey shade or maybe more camel rather than the green, because when you see it all together, you're going to see what the colors do, and this is why this is such an important exercise. There's a little tiny stripe in here of aqua, a nice light blue-green. So they decided to bring in that color. Now, if you look at all of those colors together, do you think that looks good together? It's in here. I mean, if you get real close to this, you go, oh, that's why they did that. And it reminds me of a story years ago. I saw this woman who was very well dressed across the room from me, and she was wearing what appeared to be a brown suit, pants and jacket, this kind of thing, like a blazer, and a pink shirt. And it's not that brown and pink don't go together, but it looked really odd to me until I got up close to her. And when I got up close, I could see there was a little tiny pink stripe running through that brown, and that's why she picked out the pink shirt. But the lesson I learned from that was, if from a distance you don't see that color, you probably shouldn't bring it in, and I think that's the case here. I think that they did a great job with the sofa fabric and these two blues. Let me show you how they used them. This is a slipper chair. You know what a slipper chair is? It means it does not have arms to it. So it just slips right in. It's great in a bedroom, great in a living room. But look, a striped fabric on an upholstered chair looks really good. That's a great place. Imagine having a striped sofa, not so much. So here's this fabric here. Now this blue velvet, or it's actually mohair, would fit right here. That's where they use that. And then over here, this is the fabric that they used on this blue pillow right here. And you saw the stripe. Look, here is our sofa fabric. And take a look at this. Wah, wah. Doesn't that look weird? I think that just looks strange to me, but you know what's really strange? Over here. You know, literally, when I walked in, I thought, oh, someone must have just sat those there, like by mistake, because it is in here. I give it to you, it's in here. But what I'm trying to teach you is, be careful to pick out the colors that are obvious and not the ones that are less obvious, because from a distance, it's just not going to give you the first impression that you're looking for. Yeah, this looks really nice. Other than these three pillows, I hope I don't offend anyone by saying that, but just saying. I think if we put this pillow here and this pillow here, You see how that brings in the gold that they were trying to do here, but it just doesn't read green. Like put another creamy color pillow here if they wanted to do 3. Maybe I'll put that there, and that there. If you saw my episode on pillows, which if you haven't, you need to go in and unlock that because it's really good. You'll see that I'm cascading my pillows. And just a side note here, really valuable. Like I wish this was taller so that they cascaded in size. What they did was they took the stripe and they mitered it into the corners to create an actual hero pillow that goes with this chair. You can tell it's the same fabric, but it doesn't look quite so repetitive, which it would if it was just the stripe. So that was a clever thing to do. So I'm going to add some accessories that I found around here and maybe an area rug option. Not bad for just picking out things they have here on the floor. Okay, one last thing, an area rug. Why not? Because it's kind of almost like, we have a design session just on area rugs too. So we picked out of what they had here on the floor. This one. Now this one's a little bit more of a Dury rug, but look at the colors with this chair. It's got your gold and your blue and your taupe color in it. You could maybe do that. We also have this one that's got some blues and some light blue. It's maybe a little bit more aqua, but we're just working with the best of what we got here in the showroom. Now you can see how that looks. And then this one is way more traditional and elegant, but with the tan and the gold medallion print, that could go too. What I'm going to share with you right now is what I call design gold. This is worth the price of admission. If you don't get anything else from this episode, remember this. Let's say you're like me and you're just crazy about white or off-white, super light. You may be afraid to use that on an upholstered piece of furniture like sofas. I don't know if you've noticed, but my sofas are white. I mean, as white as they get. They're also made out of microfiber, which is like an ultra suede. So here are 3 things that you can do if you insist on having light colored furniture, but you're afraid it's gonna get dirty. Number 1, do what I do. You may or may not know, but I'm sitting right now not on my upholstery, but I'm sitting on blankets. I bought white blankets. These are just like little fleece blankets. I think I got them at Target or Home Goods or something like that. And I literally cover the bench seat completely, tuck it all in nice and neat, and we take one blanket and we cover the back 3 cushions all at one time. I even have some leftover microfiber that I put over the arms. The reason I do that is we have a dog. She's so adorable, but she sheds. And who wants to sit on a sofa with dog hair on it? So by putting blankets on it, I still get the overall same look of a white sofa, but it's practical for us on an everyday basis. Now, I take them off whenever I'm filming or whenever we have guests over, but when we live in our house, this is how it looks. It's not bad, it still gives us the overall feel, but guess what? Those blankets, they can just go in the washer and dryer. Every week we put them in there, and honestly, my sofa stays looking beautiful. When I take it off, I just love how white the upholstered fabric still looks. The second thing you can do is there are products on the market that either you can have a professional apply or you can do it yourself. In my design practice, if you've seen my videos, you see that I often do off-white, creamy, beigey sofas, even a light gray. And for my clients, I have them specially treated. And then there's a third option, and that is, if you can get your hands on this particular fabric, you will be able to bleach your furniture. Now this is only available to the trade right now, but I believe it will be available to the public pretty soon. Someone should have thought of that a long time ago. And remember, if you're watching this as we go live, I'm on Twitter and you can interact with me as much as you want for that hour. It's #DesignSessionsLive, and I'd love to read your comments, comment back to you, see your photos, anything I can do to help you. Have you ever felt overwhelmed with the amount of selections you have? Have you ever gone into a store to order a sofa? You thought you'd walk in and say, oh, there's the one I want. You know, there's a lot of options. You can pick your leg style, you can pick your fabric, you can pick the cushion stuff that goes inside. Today here at Metro Decor, we're going to be talking about how do you make the right selections for upholstered furniture, specifically a sofa. This is how many things I have to choose from. And you know, I'm a professional. I shouldn't get overwhelmed by this, but come on, this is overwhelming, right? I'm gonna make it easy for you today. I'm gonna keep in mind one of our subcontractors who asked me to help him with his family room. That will help me make my selections, and you'll see how the process works. It used to be that to have the kind of customization we're talking about here, where you get to pick your legs, you get to pick your stuffing inside your cushions, and you get to pick all your fabrics individually, it was a very high-end and expensive option. But today, there are stores just like this one who give you multiple options in the things I just mentioned. So let's keep Robert in mind. His name is Robert, okay? Let's keep Robert in mind, and let's pick out a sofa for his family room. So these are the things I'm going to think about as I'm selecting this. Number one, he's a guy. Robert does not want this to look like a chick's house. He doesn't want anything too precious. No velvet, I'm thinking, yeah. Number two, he has cats. So hair is going to stick to this sofa, which is why I probably wouldn't go with a dark charcoal or a dark anything, because that hair is going to show. Number three, he has teenage daughters who live with him, and this family room is where they do all of their living. So it needs to be super comfortable, ready for watching television, and it's got to be easy to clean. So while you're shopping, keep in mind what's important to you, just like I'm keeping in mind what's important to Robert. Don't start with the sofa, because the sofa, as you can see, there are literally thousands of fabrics to choose from. And if you do it like I do, which is I always select a solid color, it's so much easier to sway to the left or to the right of any given color. Let's say gray. There's warm grays, there's cool grays. Keep them coming. How are you going to decide which is the best gray for you? You might just go in and pick out a sofa in a gray, and then when you get it home, you're going to realize, oh, I have to find pillows for that. And you know what? It's hard to find pillows to a certain gray, but if you come into the store when you're shopping for a sofa, come in with your pillow or pillow fabric first, and then you are good to go. Then you can select, and you're like, your room is half done. So right now we're just trying to get some print options of what's available at this store. And from there we're going to build our sofa and the rest of our furniture in here. So let's do a little trial here. So if we were to stand back and look at that as a combination, I think it's interesting. Okay, let's try this tribal look. This would be perhaps my pillow combination in this color combo, and we'll find a sofa that looks great on. It actually looks really good on the tan. So I think this would look nice on maybe a rich, deep gray sofa, but then we have to worry about the cat issue and cat hair. But it's nice. It's got the little bit of softness in the velvet that would be nice for the fact that he has daughters that live at home. Here's another option that maybe takes away from this little slightly more feminine look. I like that. Okay, so let's try this blue combination, kind of California tropical. So this is our hippie option. So now let's try these different collections on different color sofas. This will at least narrow it down. I think I want to go with the gray, but do I want to go light gray, medium, or dark? So this would be what I would call a medium to dark. And remember, there are cats, so we have to be careful about hair. Take a look at it here. So that's what it looks on a dark gray, and I don't like it quite as much. What do you think? Let's go to a light or medium gray. Oh, already I'm liking that. So that, to me, is fresh and clean. And I think that looks great on that color. My only concern is we know that they're going to live on these sofas, and it just might be he might be a little afraid of it, okay? Here's one over here that looks a little more oatmeal. Let's see what it looks like over here. Oh, it's got a green undertone. Nope, that doesn't work. So that kind of gives us an idea of finding something a little bit deeper than this field color. And I also want to know if there's something like this that might work. So now I have an idea, the color option for a sofa that I'd want to look for in this one. You know, this is why I typically go with cream or tan or off-white or soft gray light colors for my sofas because it's so versatile. I mean, I think that looks great on there, but that's not practical for our guy's lifestyle. That looks kind of nice. All right, I could live with that. I think that looks nice. So I kind of like this because this pulls in this stripe here and some of these neutrally browns. This is, I don't even know what this is. It's like gray and brown together. I wonder if the lighting is making it look this color. So there's some natural light right around the corner that's coming through the window. Let's see if it still looks good. I think that's actually really nice. I love the texture of that. I think it looks very manly, and I think it would be really hardy. And let's see how comfortable it is. It's pretty comfortable. I mean, it could use a different kind of seat cushion. This is a good one, I like this. So let's try it on this really dark gray here. Oh, that's handsome. There's some great shades of this charcoal in here, which pulls this in beautifully. And I really like the texture of this fabric, kind of pulling this in again. I like this combo a lot. Let's keep looking. Wow, that looks good. So that I think looks great. So if he wants a lighter color sofa, this might be a really good option. Pulls this in beautifully. And look, this has a grayish to it, and so does this. I like this one a lot. And I even like this sofa, and I think he would too. And here's our last combination in the navy and white. Let's see what we have. This is what it looks like with a light gray, which is okay, not awesome. Another shade of gray, definitely a very clear, cool gray, which it would have to be. If it can't be white, there's no warmth in this color combination, so it'd have to go pretty icy. I think this fabric would be awesome for bedding more than a family room. So I think I'm gonna nix this as an option altogether. So if I wanted to go with a super charcoal dark gray, that looks really good. I'm just afraid of those darn cats. But yeah, actually that area rug right there would look really cute with this. That looks great on there. I really like it on the dark gray, unless I can find a dark gray that has like a oatmeal-y thread running through it so that if animal hair gets on the sofa, it's not gonna show so much, but then it might just tone down what I'm after. That would work. That is like a rich charcoal, but it has that little nub of cream in it. But yeah, that would actually work. You guys remember Matthew. He's one of my videographers, and he's been in a couple of our design sessions, one on planting pots and outdoor gardening, and also we did a quick bedroom makeover, guest bedroom makeover, where we put the reclaimed wood wall. Well, he recently got new sofas, and he picked out something very close to this color. Super strong teal, I would say. Something like this, I should just at least put this in here for Robert to take a look at. Here's the thing about sofas. This sofa is not the main player. It's not your hero. It is your backdrop. Your hero is maybe your area rug. Your hero is definitely a throw pillow that goes on the sofa. But it's not like, you know, these kinds of fabrics are interesting, but maybe better for pillows than certainly for a sofa. And I think probably that's why they're here. These are interesting, definitely strong colors, but I think a chair, like a slipper chair that doesn't have arms, would be amazing in something like this and add total punch to a room. Look at this, you could have your sofa in this sort of a velvety kind of fabric and then do pillows in that. And this has this soft gray in it, which goes perfectly with that. You get the right art and area rug, and that could be super smashing. You know, a natural color, I mean, what color do you use for a guy? I do not want to pick out dark brown leather for Robert. That's a typical choice that a guy would make if he was shopping by himself, I think. When I think of neutral, I think green like this, which is like plant green, is a neutral. This is pretty comfortable. The one thing is though, this will hide dinginess and dirt really easily, and I don't think you'll see the cat stuff on it. So on your fabrics too, you're gonna find this is code S for cleaning, which means you can steam clean this. You know, Stanley steamer, bring them in and have them clean it. If you see a W, it means it's washable. You know, the problem is when you go neutral, sometimes you can end up with a boring house. So you don't want it to be too boring, and I'll tell you what, Robert, he is anything but boring. But I really like this one. It's a warm gray, so it's got a little bit of tan and neutral in it as well. So it doesn't feel like a cool gray, it's warmer. And it's not charcoal, which would show the cat hair. I think this one would kind of hide it, actually. So I'll take these out and then we'll lay them out and do a little comparison. Okay, so this one is a velvet. Now, for Robert, this would be horrific, and I can tell you why. The cat hairs would show up on this like there's no tomorrow. That would not be a good choice for him. But if your house is more formal and you want it to be a little more fussy looking, velvet is nice. This is in here with upholstery wear fabric. I would never put this on a sofa. Maybe on a slipper chair or something, but it's so thin. Okay, so this is a woven that would also work for Robert because of its overall color, but it's not comfortable. It's kind of hard. So this would be a kind of a mid-century chair, I think, not a sofa fabric. This is a fast way to do this. Kind of go like this, and you can quickly see. Feels like linen. Okay, so when I look at something like this, it's kind of a print. It could go on an occasional chair, which means just a side chair, but I would never use something like this on a sofa. And it feels more like tablecloth fabric to me. Actually, it'd make a really cute tablecloth, more so than on a sofa. So the thinness of this, I don't see that as wearing well. But secondly, way too much pattern for a sofa, because imagine that repeating over and over and over again. When I see something like this, or all these stripes in multiple colors, I think, you know, that's actually really cute on a chair in, you know, a beach house application or a sunroom. All right, this is an interesting fabric. It almost reminds me of like a modern corduroy. So rather than really strong stripes, it's sort of a broken stripe. I have to give them options, okay, guys? So we narrowed it down to 3 options. This first one, the second one, and the third one. And I needed to pick out sofa fabrics. So I went through all of those fabrics you guys saw. When you're looking at fabrics like this in a piece, it's hard to imagine what's it gonna look like in a big piece of furniture. They had that sofa over there. You saw me take this over there. I actually really liked this on that sofa, and it's not a perfect color match, but it looked great together. But here are some other options. This is one of the chenilles, and it could indeed look very good. I just don't know if that much texture is going to be necessary. Then we have this. This is one of the other ones I loved because it almost looks like linen. But if you take this and you look at it over here next to this, do you see how this has got a lot of gold in it? And this actually has a lot of green in it. So I wouldn't put this together with this, and I think that is a lot of texture with this, so that one is out. Another one that was similar, and now this is a better color mix, but still, I think this is better. I like the look of this. This is too much print, too much pattern going on for what we're doing. And this is just linen, and I think that's kind of boring. So let me show you what I ended up with. This is the one we set on the sofa. This is actually that fabric. Now I can see that in this here, there's like soft versions of that, but it actually has more gray in it than I would have thought I'd want. It looked great here, so I'm assuming that's kind of a safe bet. I am going to take the next step, which is super important, and that is lighting changes everything. What you need to do is see what these things look like in your own home, in your lighting. So the next step is to get permission to take these out on loan for at least 24 hours. I mean, I try to get them for longer than that because I usually have to show clients, but see if you can check these out, take them home, and work with them in your space and see, do these colors go in a funky direction, or is it exactly what you thought it was going to be? Let's take a look at this one. So I don't always do this many options, but because I'm shopping for my friend, I want to make sure that when I go, I hit something that he's going to like. Remember, we thought that the medium gray sofa would look the best. So imagine this as your background. And this is a nice, like a corduroy-ish type fabric. So because light does different things in different houses, I'm going to take all of these shades to Roberts and let him weigh in on which one he likes best and see what looks best in his natural lighting. If I went home with just one gray, and if it wasn't right, I have to come back here and go through this whole process again. This way, I've got some options to choose from. I really like this option too. This is the tan and black, and I really like this stripe. I think stripes are so fun. Look at this. These particular patterns look great together. Remember, as we were looking at the sofas, we could either, it looked really good on the dark, and look guys, I found a dark that I think could work. Super dark charcoal gray, and then there's also this one. So let's just kind of get that, the impression that these pillows, so just so you know, remember these are for pillows. They are sitting, these pillows are sitting on top of a sofa, either of the light field color or the dark. I like both of those, and I think Robert's going to too. So I feel like I've been successful today. Woohoo! Oh my. In addition to picking out the right fabric for your sofa, there's just a couple of little tips I want to give you about sofas. Number one, if you have piping on the sofa, it's a little less comfortable. So if you're sitting like this and you're putting your arm here, you've got a ridge that your arm is going against. Just not as comfortable. Also, tight backs, not so much. If you want something super boggy and super like lay down and just love it, then something with extra cushions on the back are typically more comfortable. This is just one long cushion, and that makes it look a little bit more modern, and that's what I have in my house. One little detail is that if you have welting added to a sofa, it costs you more. So it's less expensive and super comfortable. Take a look at this room. It's a guest room with 2 twin beds, and the client wanted a really warm, autumny color palette. So back to the color story. This was my hero fabric. This is where I started. I loved this fabric. It was very expensive, so we only used it at the end of the bed, and that's a trick. When it comes to fabric, it doesn't have to be the most expensive part in your house. In fact, it's usually the least expensive. But if you have something you find and you absolutely love it, use it sparingly. And then I found this bullion fringe that we added to the end of that. Isn't that so pretty? I found a chair in this beautiful green velvet, and that was like a pop. The headboards to the beds were made out of this incredible silk velvet. Our intent was to copy and mirror this exact velvet that's on this fabric that's embroidered on here. And then this was our wallpaper. Look how that pulls in, okay? And then look, to top it all off, I found this, and this was a problem. So you either get it super crisp like this because it's silk, or you get that tutu. I prefer the crispness over the tutu, but you can put weights on the end of these too and that'll hold it down. But look how pretty that is. It's like a 3 or 4 layers of this striping, and we put the window treatments horizontally. Pretty stinking gorgeous, don't you think? And this, by the way, looks kind of like, woo, that's kind of fun. Well, you know where I put this? I use this as the shower curtain in the companion bathroom right next to the bedroom. And when you see the green fabric on that chair, all of that makes so much sense. It's so beautiful. How about this one? This was a 200 square foot home, not just a room, a home. Okay, so it was underground. But I wanted this home to be fun and light and airy and not so like depressing because you're underground. What I picked for my hero fabric was this, and I thought this was so beautiful, and that little bit of that yellow-green color and the gray was so much fun. All of these patterns still connect with each other, and I don't think they're too much. It was spread out. So I used these in different areas. And then this was super fun. This is this gray chain curtain. So it's super fun. But you can see how something like this, laying this out, really set a very fun and interesting mood. The color story connects in all of them. And if you look closely, the geometric shapes also connect. You see those all together? I don't think that's too much. I just think it's fun. And guess what? When you are 50 feet underground, you are definitely looking for something fun. So guys, this is what we call Puff the Magic Dragon. This is actually supposed to be dragon smoke, like out of the nostrils. That's actually the name of the fabric. I was shopping with my client at Kravet and she fell in love with this. So I designed a master bedroom for her and her husband using this as the window treatment fabric, which I don't normally do something this patterned on a window treatment, but we decided, you know what? That would actually look really, really pretty. So this was the window treatments, and then look at this. I found a geometric pattern shape as well, and that really has this glamorous shimmery fabric in the center of it. So that has that exact same blue. Look at that. Isn't that just so yummy? And then we had pillows made out of these, and look, more sparkles for those of you who are magpies. So we use these for some of the upholstered and bolstered pillows. And look at this. This fabric is very sheer, and they actually had a privacy curtain that went between the retreat and the bedroom, and they needed a curtain. And so I found this, and I thought it was so gorgeous. Look at that. It's actually got beads. Kind of matches my bracelet, doesn't it? And I would just tell you, it was so hot, they often heard a fire engine when they were in that bedroom. Hence, Puff the Magic Dragon. So in this next guest bedroom, this was my hero fabric. The client loved this. She loved the turquoise and the green and the lime. And so this fabric, very traditional. I decided I don't want it to make it look like it's a granny's room. Nothing wrong with grannies. I happen to be one. We used a off-white, and you see me do this a lot. If you've seen the bedding episode for the design sessions, often I'll take the field color here and use this as my duvet cover or my quilt or comforter, and then I get some really fabulous fabrics for pillows. That's what we did here. But here's how I modernized it. I brought in this fabric, and this is silk. We use this for pillows as well. And isn't that fun? Look how the colors are so perfect. So this is a heavyweight fabric, perfect for pillows, but so is silk. Silk can easily be used for pillows. And then I also brought in some solids, as I often do. This is a microfiber, which is amazing on furniture. We also did some striped pillows, again, to make it very beachy and playful and young. Look how that took this very traditional fabric into a much more contemporary look. And the best part I thought was, this is one of my favorite fabrics in the whole world. I've used it a million times. This is all I have of it. It's a very small piece, but I call it liquid velvet. We actually created like a curtain type effect that went behind the bed because we had to hide a window. This is a perfect example of using a stripe with a very busy, almost paisley-like fabric with something that's very geometric. You can combine those three things together, but it has a lot to do with scale. Look how big the repeat is of this circle thing here. Like, that's a big thing. the stripes are very linear, and then this guy has all the room in the world to get crazy. It's all about the scale, the color, and how it all works together. I can't help but bring up this story about me being at Disneyland a couple years ago, and I happened to be waiting for a show in line, and we met another couple. She comes back over and he says, oh, she's a designer, and she goes, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Well, we just bought our first condo. Here's what we did. We got the condo, and the first thing I wanted to do was paint. Have you seen the design session on painting? She made a mistake there. But they wanted to paint. I said, okay, that's cool. She goes, yeah. So we painted each one. She goes, I love so many different things. I love so many colors, so I painted each wall a different favorite color. I painted one a pumpkin color, and then I painted one like a rusty burgundy, and then I painted one a really pretty like harvest gold, and then I painted one this really neat kind of avocado green because I think it's pretty cool. And I was like, okay, and she said, but my favorite wall is this like a raspberry hot pink. And I was like, I love lemon meringue pie and New York street dogs, but I don't necessarily want to take them in the same bite. And she said, then we got our furniture. And I said, well, what does your furniture look like? And she says, we bought brown, dark, really like chocolate brown leather sofas. And we bought a dining room table that's espresso, which is a super black brown. As she entered each additional item of what they'd put in their house, I just felt worse and worse and worse inside because I was visualizing it, and I could see why she wasn't excited about it. And she said, so what do I do? So here was my advice to her. I said, how about try to find a piece of art that you can put above the sofa on the wall. There's nothing on it, she didn't have any art. Try to find a piece of art that has all of those colors in it. So somehow you can pull it together. And I said, secondly, see if you can find some fabric that you could have pillows made out of. I mean, it's not likely you're gonna find pillows that exist in those colors necessarily, but because it was random. In my mind, I visualized something like, and I wish I had this to show her, this. And remember, she had a raspberry. That's what made this. When I saw this fabric at Cravat, I was like, oh my gosh, where is that girl? I wish I knew where she was. I'd say, here, take this. This is the answer to your question. But look, it definitely brought all of her paint colors together and would have answered her problem. This next color story is, I think, a great take on traditional, but adding some modern elements. If a client says, I'm very traditional, then I will stay very traditional. If they're not, I'm trying to get them to kind of like balance this tightrope. Actually, you can't go like that on a tightrope, can you? But I'm trying to get them a balance so that their homes last the test of time. So here we go. Guess what, when you like, if you pan across here, which one of these do you think is my hero fabric? It was this. This is what started this room. I saw this at Cravat and I was like, oh my gosh. So here's what I did. I thought, oh my gosh, I am gonna use those eyelets for my rod. So I put my rod through the hole. I mean, it was like pre-made. We didn't even have to have our window treatments made. So yeah, this is how it started. And then I thought, well, now I can go any color I want. And I thought, this looks great. Look at that, the color here in this field. And it's like exactly the same as what's stitched around those holes. This was also very traditional. It's kind of like a floral, open floral version of a paisley. Then I bring in my ikat. And this ikat is great because it's got the same colors, so I think that they can work well together. Then, the last thing I did, I wanted to use grass cloth. The one thing about grass cloth that I'm not a huge fan of is I'm not a big fan of the seams that you get in grass cloth. So I actually had the walls faux painted to look like grass cloth, and this was one of the sample boards. So it brings in the color of around the circles and the background color together. So yeah, you know what, guys? Fabric is fun. I actually had someone tell me one time, someone in the business say, Rebecca, you are fabric driven. And I'm like, I'm gonna take that as a compliment. So, what do you think? Did you enjoy that session today? I hope so. I hope that you are doing, you know, the subtle tool thing and adding to that toolbox of yours so that you can continue to improve your own home each session at a time. My son and his wife, they say, our house is growing up one design session at a time. And that's what we want for you guys. If you were a contractor and you're going to build a house, would you show up without your box of tools? No, you would not. Well, if I'm going to help you learn how to decorate your home and make it amazing, then get this. You need the tools. Each session builds on the past. So you may have a hammer, and you may have a nail, and you may have clippers, but you don't have a screwdriver. Dude, you need a screwdriver. I don't know which session is a screwdriver, but I'm sure you need it. You can go and unlock additional sessions anytime you want and add to your toolbox, because it's only going to make you a better contractor. All right, you guys, I look forward to seeing you next time at the next design session, and it's going to be amazing, and I look forward to it. And what else can I say? Nothing. I guess that's it. And that guy, he's hot rodding out of here, and so am I. Cheers.